What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gamer's Place. I'm your host, Logan, and in today's video, we're going to be telling you the best games to play on Steam Deck in 2025. You cannot go wrong with anything on this list, so be sure to subscribe and like the video if this video helped you guys find awesome games to play on your brand new Steam Deck. And without any further ado, let's get right into the video.
Hollow Knight 1 has some of the best gameplay and movement ever in a Metroidvania, and I mean ever. Like, that's one of the GOATs in terms of Metroidvanias. So when you are going to make a sequel to that, I expect it to be a lot better. And let me tell you guys, right now, this is better. This game is more precise, it's faster, it has more nimble movement, it has the abilities that help you do this movement so you're able to stay agile and be able to do what you need to do even in the hardest sections of the game. And also the abilities are really cool, like a running buzzsaw, hiring companions, all that type of stuff. It is here in Hollow Knight Silksong. So this game has a bunch of bosses, a whole bevy of them. You have like over 40 legendary bosses that you have to go through and fight in this game. There's a lot of content here. You could spend a lot of hours in this game just running around having a good time fighting the bosses and 100%ing the whole thing. You really could. And to me, this game nails exploration, which is the number one thing that a Metroidvania has to be elite at. If you want to explore the world, if the world carries you and brings you in and gets you excited, then that is a great world for a Metroidvania, because the whole point of these games is to find skills, go on different paths, explore the world, and you're supposed to want to uncover the whole entire map. That is what every single Metroid game has ever done. That is what all the great Metroidvania copy-pastes of Metroid have ever done, and I am happy to report that is exactly what Hollow Knight Silksong has done. This is a world that is not only beautiful, handcrafted, and looks absolutely gorgeous, like a Picasso painting that you never want to sell type thing here, but on top of that, this is a world that when you see it, you just want to run into it and you don't want to leave. There's so many cool things here, and I've never been so immersed and so into a world that has zero voice acting or any of that at all. They found a way to tell a pretty cool, compelling story without saying a single word. You have to read everything, and then they have these little gibberish sounds coming out of the characters' mouths and stuff. But it is super interesting stuff, and it'll draw you in. It'll immerse you. This is one of the best Metroidvanias I've played in years in terms of all of this stuff, especially the exploration. Like, I want to emphasize that for all of you that are listening to this review. Exploration in Metroidvanias is the number one thing you have to nail. And Team Cherry has nailed it here. When they say this game was trapped in development heaven, I see it when I play Hollow Knight Silksong. I see the passion, I see the love, I see everything that they wanted you to see with this game. It looks good, it plays immaculate, and the gameplay itself is almost unbeatable by any other game in its genre. I absolutely love what we got here. And on top of all that, let's talk about the beautiful soundtrack, because I think Hollow Knight Silksong has one of the best soundtracks in a Metroidvania ever. Each moment has a brand new song that plays. You have an intense song for a boss, you have a calm song for exploration, you have an intense song for intense exploration when you're having to do parkour to get out of the way of obstacles and things of this nature. The way that this game uses music to push you into doing things that otherwise you would be somewhat uncomfortable doing, that is amazing. This game uses music to push the tone, to push everything that it's trying to do. If the game wants you to be calm, you get a beautiful song. If the game wants you to be upbeat and ready to go to war, you get an intense song. And I love when games can just absolutely use music and gameplay and marry them together and give you an absolute masterpiece across the board with that. That is what Hollow Knight Silksong has done. This game, let me tell you guys, I can't think of really anything that I didn't like. This game has some of the best exploration I've ever seen in a Metroidvania. It has some of the absolute best characters that I've seen in a while in a Metroidvania. I know they're not voice casted or any of that, but trust me, you have to play the game to understand, but you will love the characters. And then on top of all of that, the combat and all of that is immaculate. The boss fights are so fun in this game that I don't want to spoil anything. This is a spoiler-free review, but man, Hollow Knight Silksong just absolutely nails everything that I love about a Metroidvania. Up next on this list, we have Vampire Survivors, and this game is amazing. This is one of those games where you have to level up your character to be able to get power-ups throughout the levels and the runs that you do so that you can continue to get more powerful and stronger to be able to go higher up against more enemies and more fiends and stuff of that nature. And these games are insanely addicting because the stronger you get, the further you get, and the more enemies that come after you and all that type of stuff. So if you really love games that are addictive, that are fun, that are snappy, and that give you that sense of progression, I think that you will absolutely love Vampire Survivors. This game runs great on deck too, as you would expect. It's a pixelated game, so be sure to pick this one up on your Steam Deck. Up next is one of my personal favorite remasters of the last decade, and that's Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Now this game is absolutely phenomenal on Steam Deck with a playable rating. The frame rate is really good in this game. It's just playable because some of the things with text and whatnot are hard to read. And this game is so much fun. It's an action RPG where you level up your characters, kind of like Skyrim if Skyrim was in third person. I guess that's the best way I can describe this game in a short, meaningful way. And this game has really cool bosses, an interesting story as well. Like, it's not the best story you'll ever play, but it's definitely interesting and will keep you locked in for the whole experience. So I highly recommend Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning to all of you who want just a really fun, cheap action RPG on your Steam Deck, because this game goes on sale all the time and I think you'll really enjoy it. And up next we have one of my favorite mind-bending games in Control. Now this is an action game set in the oldest house, which is like this place where a bunch of supernatural happenings and things like that happen throughout the whole entire game. You get to see a bunch of phenomenon and all that type of stuff that you have to combat with your abilities, and you do have superpowers as you become the leader of the oldest house. And this game is really cool. It's one of the most unique experiences I have played in years. I cannot recommend it enough. Remedy, you knocked it out of the park again. And on top of that, this game is a masterpiece on the Steam Deck. Runs absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, with the OLED screen especially, this game just pops off the screen as it has an art style like nothing you've ever seen before, where it blends like that realistic graphic type feel with a very supernatural, eerie, ghosty type feel. So they put those two together to make one of the most unique artistic games ever made, and I cannot recommend it enough on Steam Deck, so be sure to check it out. Up next is one of my favorite indie games that you can get on the Steam Deck, and that's Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I think this game is an absolutely phenomenal blend of what you do in actual Deep Rock Galactic and what you do in Survivor games. Now, we've had some other Survivor games on this list, so it's essentially very similar to that, where you have to basically fight off hordes, level up, get power-ups, things of that nature, and you're in the Deep Rock Galactic universe. So if you like that universe and you thought that what they did in the original game was really cool, I highly recommend this, because this is a game that you can get addicted to, that you can also use the sleep and resume feature pretty well on the Steam Deck, because this is a game designed for you to be able to play it for an hour, pause the game, put the thing to sleep, and then come back and do it again a little bit later. So I highly recommend this. The art style pops and everything just feels amazing when you're playing this game. It runs and looks great on the Steam Deck. And up next, we have one of my personal favorite Sony games, and I had to put it on this list, man, and that is Days Gone. This game does not get enough love, and I'm gonna be real, the absolute insane story that you get here with all the cool plot twists and things of that nature, and then on top of all that, the interesting zombie designs. Now, I'm sick and tired of people saying that this game is very generic and formulaic and all that type of stuff, because it isn't. You have to repair your bike, you have to go through this open world with these freakers, as they call them, where they're basically a gigantic horde of super aggressive zombies, where when I say gigantic horde, I mean it. You can literally be chased by hundreds of these things at once if you're not careful. So be careful when you're going through those parts of the map, because it's really hard. They made it really challenging. They made the zombies super powerful and honestly kind of intimidating. So if you love zombie games and you want one that has an absolutely fantastic, epic storyline, I think that you are going to absolutely love Days Gone, and it runs and looks great on the Steam Deck as well. I believe this game is verified, so if you guys want just a really amazing zombie game that you can play on the go, definitely pick up Days Gone on your Steam Deck. Now, up next, we have one of the best horror thriller type games ever made, which is Alan Wake. Now, in this game, you play as a writer named Alan Wake, of course, and you go through the whole entire storyline, basically writing your own horror story and trying to write yourself out of it. Every time Alan Wake writes anything, it comes to life in this game, which I thought was a really cool story beat. And on top of that, this game has really cool like light darkness gameplay where you have to shine a flashlight on your enemies to make the darkness get off of them so that you can kill them effectively and stuff like that. I thought that that was a really cool mechanic and I really enjoyed it. But just the overall feel that this game brings, it's eerie, it's scary, it's dark. It's really cool and it's really fun to play through if you're into horror. If you're not, maybe stay away because it may not be for you. But this game runs and looks great on the Steam Deck, so I can't recommend it enough. Pick up Alan Wake. Now, yes, we have another Survivors game, and that is Achilles Survivor. If you're into Greek mythology and you love what you heard with the other Survivors games that we have on this list, this game is perfect for you because this game is a Greek mythology version of everything else we've said with the Survivor games. Now, this game is also insanely cheap. Like, even when it's not on sale, this thing's like $5. Like, I'm dead serious. That's one of the reasons I put it on this list because the amount of gameplay, fun, and value you're gonna get for $5 freaking is off the charts. It's out of this world, and I think you guys are going to love this game entirely if you love all the other Survivors games. So I highly recommend Achilles Survivor. It's a really cool game where you get to pick like your favorite Greek warrior and you get to go through and just slaughter a bunch of ancient Greek enemies and monsters and things of that nature while also getting power-ups, as you know from before. So I really enjoyed this one, and I think you will too. Now, up next, we have Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. Now, if you love mech games, this is going to be right up your alley because you get to upgrade your mech, you get to fight other mechs and things of that nature. And on top of that, there is some online component stuff. So if you want to play with online on this game, you can. And yeah, the storyline is very mediocre. I will say that. So if you're playing this for the story, definitely stay away. But if you want fun mech gameplay, I think Daemon X Machina will give it to you because I'm really enjoying this game on both my Steam Deck and my Switch too. I think it runs great and looks great on both. And this game is really fun to play if you want to just focus on gameplay and not as much story. So I highly recommend this game to every single person who wants to play a fun, brutal mech game because I will warn you guys, this game is also insanely hard. And sometimes it feels like it's like unbalanced hard, like it's unnecessary levels of difficulty. So be warned with that too. And yeah, so if you enjoy these types of games, pick up Daemon X Machina. If not, then I wouldn't pick this one up because I don't think this is going to change your mind necessarily on mech games. So if you already aren't a fan, this game isn't going to make you like have the light switch turn on type deal where you're going to enjoy them all of a sudden. But if you love them, buy it on Steam Deck. Now, up next, we have Cronos, the New Dawn. So, Cronos, the New Dawn is absolutely phenomenal if you love that Dead Space level horror. This game is going to blow your mind in terms of story with the mind bending, time traveling stuff that they do here. I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, I promise. But it's definitely amazing and thrilling, and you're going to love every second of it. And on top of that, this game has breathtaking visuals. I mean, this is definitely a UE5 game. This game looks and plays really good on deck. I mean, you get about 30 FPS with lossless scaling, though you can up that thing up to 60. And then on top of that, you also can get full resolution on your screen with 1000 nits and OLED. Holy moly, baby. Let me tell you, this game looks great on your Steam Deck, so I highly recommend this one to all my horror and Dead Space fans out there on the deck. Be sure to pick this one up today.
We have Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, and if you guys love FromSoft and you love mech games, this is the perfect game for you. It gives you that FromSoft difficulty, it gives you all the fun customizations that mech games give you on a constant basis, and it gives you just absolutely everything that you would want from this type of game. Intense action, fun set pieces, and really cool environmental storytelling that you get from most FromSoft games. This game has it all. So if you're a fan of FromSoft and you really enjoy just intense combat, really difficult gameplay, when I say really difficult, I mean really difficult. This is a really difficult, hard game. Then Armored Core 6 is going to satiate every single need you have for gaming in general. This game is one of the most underrated FromSoft games you can play, and I highly recommend it. You can also find this game constantly on sale at the big Steam sales, and this one is Steam Deck verified, so you know for sure that it's going to work great, look great, and feel great in your hands whenever you're playing this on the Steam Deck. And by the way, this game on the OLED is immaculate and beautiful, so if you guys really love fun, beautiful, intense action games, definitely try Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Up next is Bug Fables, the Everlasting Sapling, and this game is a really good, underrated indie title that won't take up a lot of space and will also look and play great on your Steam Deck and Steam Deck OLED. So this game is basically where you play as three bugs: V, a bee, Kaboo, a beetle, and Leaf, a moth, and they have all different types of attacks and things of that nature. And the exploration involves platforming style elements, so if you enjoy platforming elements and stuff like that in your game, I think you're really going to like this one. And the battles have action commands, pressing the button at the right time to enhance attacks to reduce damage. So think of something like kind of like an Expedition 33, where like you have to press the button prompt on the screen at the right time for it to actually do its maximum damage. And there are roughly 7 chapters in the storyline, so you're going to get a lot of really cool gameplay moments here. You got 30 plus side quests and optional bosses, around 15 of those. So if you enjoy this type of game, then I highly recommend Bug Fables, because I think it gives you a lot of gameplay that you can really just enjoy and sink your teeth into, and it'll run and look great on your Steam Deck while also taking up a very minimal amount of space. So if you're one of those guys that likes to have multiple games installed, this is a game that you can install with a bunch of bigger games, and it won't take up too much space to completely destroy your SSD. So I highly recommend you try out Bug Fables, the Everlasting Sapling, if you haven't already. Up next, we have Octopath Traveler 2. Now, this is a game that is absolutely phenomenal in every single way. It is a turn-based 2D HD RPG from Square Enix that gives you a great storyline, really phenomenal characters, a really cool world to explore, and on top of all of that, it gives you a bunch of like choices and stuff that you can make that allows the game to form around you and allows you to get multiple different endings with multiple different characters, hence the name Octopath Traveler. I think the game has about 8 to 10 endings or something like that, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of gameplay here. You can put hundreds of hours in Octopath if you really wanted to just get in the nitty-gritty, level up your characters, and enjoy every single second of this game. And on top of that, with the 2D HD art style, this game looks absolutely beautiful on the Steam Deck OLED. The colors pop, everything just looks phenomenal on it. So I highly recommend this more if you have a Steam Deck OLED than the actual just normal Steam Deck, because of how good the graphics look when it comes to that. But this game performs, looks, and is just overall amazing on the Steam Deck. So if you haven't played Octopath Traveler 2 yet, please give this one a go. It is awesome. So up next, we have Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. Now, this game is absolutely phenomenal. They did change the combat style, where it goes from a much more action-based brawler type of game to a turn-based RPG. But this game is still phenomenal, with a great story, great new cast of characters that also blends and combines with the old cast. So if you like the old cast, they're still here a little bit. But having Ichiban is really good, because this man is a kick-ass character that I think all of you are going to love to play as if you haven't experienced this game yet. And not to mention, this game runs, performs, looks, and just feels phenomenal on the Steam Deck. It's almost like this game was tailor-made for the Steam Deck. That's how good it looks and feels. So if you want a great RPG that you can sink your teeth into for hundreds of hours, play with amazing characters, and just get that Yakuza feel, but also be able to play it at the best frame rates possible on a handheld, I believe that Yakuza 7 is one of your better options, because this game has great performance, great visuals, and a phenomenal storyline that will carry you from beginning to end. And I just love this game with all my heart. So if you haven't tried Yakuza 7 yet, go ahead and give it a go. So up next, we have the indie darling Chained Echoes. This is another great turn-based RPG with a pixelated art style that pops off the screen on a Steam Deck OLED. So I highly recommend this game to anybody who just really wants to sink their teeth into another long, fun JRPG type of game that has beautiful visuals, that is unique because it's done by a small indie team that really just cares about this type of thing. So I hope you guys play this game. It takes up very little storage, so you're going to enjoy that part of it too. Just go check out Chained Echoes now. This is one of the best RPGs in years. Up next, we have one of my personal favorite RPGs, and that's Tales of Arise. This game has a fantastic storyline with really fun gameplay, with graphics that are so visually beautiful. It has like that anime aesthetic type of thing going. But it's just so bright, vibrant, colorful, and just amazing to look at on a Steam Deck OLED that I recommend this 100% to everyone who has an OLED deck. And for everybody who wants a well-performing RPG with a great story, fun turn-based action-type gameplay, this is cool. Like, this gameplay, the best way I can describe it is think about Final Fantasy VII, like the remakes. That is what this game's gameplay kind of reminds me of. It's not quite as good as that, but it definitely, reflects that a little bit. So if you enjoy that type of gameplay and you want a great story with a beautiful anime aesthetic, Tales of Arise is the game for you, so go check it out. Now up next is one of the hardest games on this list, and that's Dark Souls 3. This game is insanely hard with crazy cool bosses to fight, lots of them too. This is a FromSoft game through and through, as you guys know, so you get a bunch of cool bosses, a bunch of mini bosses, and they all want to kick your butt. That's the whole point of playing these games, is to get good and feel like you are progressing in every single way when you play. This game does that with great gear, great loot, and all these things that just FromSoft just knows how to excel at. So if you love games that challenge you, give you great rewards when you win, and makes you just feel so special when you finally kick a boss's butt and send him back to where he came, definitely try out Dark Souls 3. Now, up next, we have Sea of Stars, which is another great indie RPG, and I can't recommend this one enough either, because much like Chained Echoes, the visuals pop off the screen, and this is another fantastic, like, old school Final Fantasy inspired turn-based RPG that I feel everybody needs to play. Now, I will say this. If you're going to play Chained Echoes, I don't know if you need Sea of Stars and Chained Echoes. They're both great games. They're both great choices, but they're very similar to each other. So I would say between those two, pick one or the other. But this game is very fun and has a really good rewarding system in terms of progression and stuff like that through the combat. So if you want another game like Chained Echoes, this is the one. Pick up Sea of Stars. Now up next is a little bit of a controversial one, I know, and that is Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I think this is a really fun RPG. If you want to explore old school feudal Japan as an assassin, I think you're going to love this game a lot. The visuals pop off the screen. The performance is a little shaky at times, but it is around that 30 to 40 FPS, and you can definitely adjust your settings and do like lossless scaling and things of that nature to make this game run really good on here. But just be warned, if you want to just play the vanilla experience with no extra stuff like DLSS, FSR, any of that, then you're probably going to be around that 30 FPS mark, which isn't great. But this game is verified, and there are so many ways you can adjust this game to make it run phenomenally. So I highly recommend this game on Steam Deck, because I played this game through on the Steam Deck all 50 hours, and I loved every second of it for the most part. So definitely check out Assassin's Creed Shadows. So up next, we have Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. And this game gives you the amazing gameplay of the Final Fantasy VII remakes in the best ways possible, with the story of Zack that we got on Crisis Core, the original, back on the PSP. So if you love Crisis Core, like the original one back on the PSP, I highly recommend you play this, especially if you're a big fan of Remake, because the gameplay is exactly the same. Like, exactly the same. It's just the story from Crisis Core instead of the story from, like, the original Final Fantasy VII, which is what the other remakes are doing. So I highly recommend you check this game out on Steam Deck. Up next, we have the underrated Souls-like, and that is Lies of P. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel for a little while, you know JP is a massive fan of Lies of P. And this game right here is amazing on Steam Deck, especially Steam Deck OLED. It runs great, it looks great, it has the verified check marks. You can know with at least a little bit of certainty that this game will at least run if you do some adjustments. And on top of that, This game has really fun, interesting villains and stuff to fight that are really difficult too. They give you that FromSoft feel. So if you like that type of thing, Lies of P has you covered 100%. This is basically a FromSoft game if you had a really cool aesthetic and a really cool setting that I don't really know FromSoft themselves would really touch. So this is a very unique game that you're going to love to play a lot. So I highly recommend Lies of P on the Steam Deck. Up next, we have, in my opinion, the best FF7 remake game made to date, and that is Rebirth. Now, this is the second game of the mainline trilogy. There are technically the 3 games with the Crisis Core that we just recently talked about, but this game is by far the best. It takes that gameplay style and refines it and just makes it perfect. And on top of that, you get about 30 to 40 FPS on this game on Steam Deck. So if you use lossless scaling, of course, you can knock that thing up to about 60 frames per second, which is absolutely phenomenal in this game. And this game visually, my goodness, if you have a Steam Deck OLED, that thing pops right off the screen. So you're going to absolutely love looking at this game on your Steam Deck because it is graphically pleasing. So I got to admit, this is one of the best RPGs in general on Steam Deck, period. You're going to love this thing, and it's by far the best of the FF7 remake games so far, and I highly recommend you play this one on your Steam Deck. All right, so up next, we have a very taxing but very fun and enjoyable game that runs pretty good on the Steam Deck for the most part nowadays, and that is Elden Ring. That's right, the Game of the Year winner about 3 years ago that has phenomenal bosses, one of the best, worlds you can explore and environments, and a hidden story written by George R.R. Martin that'll make your mouth drop if you go out and look for every single piece of it, and it'll just immerse you into this world and make you love what you play through in Elden Ring. This game is so good that you want to go back to the lands between all the time. So everybody watching this video probably already owns or at least knows what Elden Ring is, so I'm not going to waste your time too much explaining it. But the bosses are phenomenal. Every single place you go in this game is beautiful. So if you want a game that'll kick your butt, it's hard, just like every other FromSoft game, of course, but has beautiful environments, great environmental storytelling, and just one of the most fun gameplay systems I've ever played in a game, period. Definitely try Elden Ring on your Steam Deck. Up next, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERGRADE, the game that started it all. This game is so fun. Like, when this game came out, I knew that they were establishing something that was going to be absolutely epic for this remake trilogy that they're planning on making, and I absolutely love everything here. The storyline, the characters, everything from the iconic original is right here in FF7, and the way that they tweak the gameplay to make it have an action style but also not forget the roots of Final Fantasy VII, the original, was absolutely beautiful to me, and it carried over and innovated itself all the way through to Rebirth, and I think that that is why people love these games. It's great for newcomers, and it's really good for people that love the original FF7 as well. So Final Fantasy VII Remake to me is one of the best games you can play, period. This whole entire trilogy or whatever they want to call it, including Crisis Core, is just absolutely epic and phenomenal, and I can't recommend this enough. These games look great on the Steam Deck OLED screen too, especially with the 1000 nits and all that. So 100% play all of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Any game that has Final Fantasy VII Remake on it that is known to be working on Steam Deck, just play them. They look great and they feel great to play, and they're just some of the best RPGs you can get right now in the current day. Now, last but not least on this list is my favorite RPG of all time, CyberPunk 2077. This beautiful game with amazing visuals and absolutely intense, epic, and for me anyways, addicting gameplay. Right here where you play in the future, you play as V, you get to customize your character. I can't say enough about this game, man. This is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I get fully immersed. I really enjoy it every single time I turn it on. I've played it on PC, Switch 2, Steam Deck, you name it. I've played it there, and I can vouch that this game runs, looks, and feels great on the Steam Deck. So if you guys want to play one of the best RPGs ever made, do yourself a favor and pick up CyberPunk 2077. So up first, we have God of War Ragnarok, which is an absolutely epic blockbuster action game where you play as Kratos from Sony in Norse mythology. This is a reboot of the original games, which was originally set in Greece, But these games are absolutely fantastic. If you love that Sony style of third-person over-the-shoulder action-adventure games with phenomenal stories and great graphics, this is the game for you. And this game also runs at a smooth, crispy 30 to 40 FPS with little to no issues on the Steam Deck. This game is also verified on Steam Deck, so if you're worried about things not working correctly, worry no more. So up next is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now this game runs phenomenally on Steam Deck. In fact, it's another Sony game that is Steam Deck verified. This game is really good. If you've played the first two, which was Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered on PC, they also had phenomenal ports and looked great and truly made you feel like Spider-Man, which is really what makes these games absolutely amazing. Next on this list, we have Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection, and this is 3 classic games put into one package with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, and Assassin's Creed 2. This is where the Assassin's Creed series really took off and took mainstream fame back in 2009 whenever Assassin's Creed 2 released. These games are absolutely phenomenal if you enjoy the old style of AC where you get to run around and be an assassin without really having to worry about levels or any of that stuff. So if you like those type of games, you'll probably enjoy this one. On this list, we have the Rip and Tear Simulator Doom Eternal. Now, if you enjoy intense FPS action with really interesting enemy designs and fun things to fight and really cool guns to use, then I think Doom Eternal is one of the best games on the map for you right now. Now, this game is basically just a single player game, so if you're looking for multiplayer, there is multiplayer, but it's not that great. So if you're buying this, you're buying it for the campaign. So just know that before you get the game. But this is Steam Deck verified. This game runs butterly smooth, 60 plus frames per second on most settings. This game is a phenomenal experience on Steam Deck, and I highly recommend it to all of you. Up next, we have Marvel's Spider-Man, the original game, the remastered version from PlayStation on the Steam Deck, which this game runs honestly better than Spider-Man 2. They both run great, but this is the definitive Spider-Man game if you ask me. Phenomenal story, great voice acting. You don't have those terrible Mary Jane missions from Marvel Spider-Man 2. You still have Mary Jane missions, but they're nowhere near as bad in this game, in my opinion, as they are in the sequel. And you also have just really cool moments that are in this game exclusively with certain villains that you just don't have in 2. And I just overall prefer this game. So if you want a game that looks better and runs better on the Steam Deck and you want to play a Spider-Man game, I would actually suggest this one over 2. So up next is A Plague Tale Requiem, and this game, let me tell you, this game has a storyline that'll break your heart, make you feel triumphant, and all these other things all at the same time. So if you love a good story, this is a must play. This game is also Steam Deck verified, so it's another one that's been updated and optimized to run on the Steam Deck perfectly. So if that's what you're looking for, you want a game that you know for sure is going to work well on every single way with the Steam Deck, you need to buy A Plague Tale Requiem because this is one of the best story-driven games ever made. Next on this list is Helldivers II, and this game is insanely good if you have a bunch of friends that want to play online and just mess around in a really fun co-op shooter. Now, one thing that is funny about this game is it has friendly fire, so if you mess up at all, you can take out your teammates on accident, so that is definitely something that you can do some trolling or something with if that's the type of player you are. But this game runs and looks great on Steam Deck, and it's honestly shocking because there's so many particle effects and things going everywhere all the time, but this game has a playable rating on Steam, and it definitely deserves it. It's really fun to play, and I suggest it to everybody who likes co-op shooters to play with friends. Now, up next, we have Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, this game is an absolute stunning masterpiece when it comes to being a Metroidvania platformer. Really sad story, too, by the way, with some really triumphant moments as well. It's really underrated in that department, and the graphics are absolutely gorgeous, especially if you have something like an OLED screen that can like pop the colors in this game, because this game is absolutely gorgeous whenever it comes to the art style and the color just discrepancies that they have on the screen. There's so many things going on in Ori that this is one of the most gorgeous games ever made, and I cannot recommend it enough, especially to Steam Deck OLED users. Now up next is the even more gorgeous sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now if you thought the other game was gorgeous, then this one completely blows that one out of the water in almost every single way graphically. It looks gorgeous. The art style is even more unique somehow. And in this game, I don't know if the Blind Forest did, but I know for sure in Will of the Wisp, they actually had multiple different artists make each different part of the game. So every part stands out and every part pops with different colors in different ways. So again, Steam Deck OLED users, this is a massive one for you. You need the Ori franchise if you have an OLED screen, because these colors are really going to pop, and this game's going to look even better than what it would on like a console, unless you have like an OLED TV for your console. But this game, I'm telling you, looks and plays phenomenal on the Steam Deck. Now up next we have Forza Horizon 5, and if you love yourself a good racing game in an open world environment where you can race wherever you want, on the streets, on the track, in the desert, doesn't matter. You can pick where you want and how you want to race and what car you're racing in and at what speeds. Forza Horizon 5 is the game for you. This game also has stunning visuals, especially on the Steam Deck. Runs butterly smooth. Like, this is one of the best optimized games that I think I've ever played in my entire life. I absolutely love Forza Horizon 5, especially whenever you are playing through like one of the more beautiful environments. It really pops and goes crazy. So I'd highly recommend this game to all Steam Deck users, especially OLED again. So up next, we have the action-packed smash hit blockbuster in Vanquish. Now, this is a game that gives you a bunch of really cool guns, a cool ability to slide really fast speeds with the little jetpacks you have in your legs that allow you to slide, maneuver, and move as fast as lightning. And also the fact that this game is so fast-paced, so energetic, and has a really good story to boot. It's really fun to play on Steam Deck because this game gets 60 plus frames per second because it is a little bit on the older side. This is a remastered version, so the graphics look phenomenal anyways. But the point still stands that this is an older game, so of course it's going to run significantly better on Steam Deck than one of the newer titles on this list. So this is one I highly recommend because it's so fun, it works great, and everything about this game just oozes blockbuster action fun that you would go to a movie to see that you can enjoy in a video game. So up next is Hades, and this game is a really fun roguelike that is absolutely perfect for the Steam Deck because you can use the sleep and resume features for this game to perfection, where you can literally pause your run, put the thing in sleep, and then pick up where you left off later on, which is one of the best features of the Steam Deck that the Windows handhelds do not have. So this game is a must-have, must-own, especially on the Steam Deck OLED, where the colors pop, because as you can see, the art style is absolutely fantastic in this game. So you want to have those colors popping. So pick this game up on your Steam Deck. It's also not that expensive, so keep an eye out for sales. So up next, we have the phenomenal sequel to Hades, which is Hades 2, which is just bigger, better, and looks amazing on the Steam Deck OLED. This is just a better version of the first game, where you get to fight a lot of bosses in bigger worlds with more enemies and more power-ups to use to your exposure and stuff like that. So if you love the first game, this is a must-have because this is just the first game but better. So yeah, pick this up on your Steam Deck OLED if you liked Hades whenever you played it. Up next is SaGa Frontier 2 Remastered. Now this looks like a very cool old school RPG coming back to modern times. So if you want to have a really cool old school JRPG that you can just play on the go and use the sleep features and all that to enjoy with updated visuals and things of that nature, I think SaGa Frontier 2 Remastered is actually an interesting buy for you because it looks like a pretty cool game and it still uses that old school aesthetic even though it's coming to the modern age and giving you that modern gameplay. So try this game out if that seems like it's for you. Now, up next is the new anime Souls-like, the first Berserker Kazan. Now this is a intense, hardcore, hard as nails action game, but there is one cool thing about it. You can adjust the difficulty, so if the game's too hard for you, you can actually make the game a little bit easier and more approachable for you to play. And having something like that, especially on the Steam Deck where you can take it on the go and use all the features of the Steam Deck to truly enjoy it, especially since this is an anime type aesthetic game that has a lot of popping colors and really cool visual art styles that you see on the screen right now. This is a game that I think is a must own on Steam Deck because it only runs at about 30 to 40 FPS, so if that's too low for you, then fine. But at this point with the Steam Deck and Steam Deck OLED, I think this is expected performance, and this is really good for what you're getting from this game. And this game is really fun to play because it's basically like a FromSoft game, but it's very anime. So if you enjoy that type of stuff, then go ahead and pick up the first Berserker. Because all right, so next up on this list is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, we're going to be doing more lists in the future. This is the last game on this particular list, but this game is absolutely fantastic. It's an instant classic. It's been out for 15 years. I don't think I have to really say too much about it, but if you love open world Bethesda games and you love medieval times, I think Skyrim is definitely a game for you to play and enjoy. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I look forward to doing more with even more great games to tell you on Steam Deck. But Skyrim is absolutely phenomenal, and I think you should try it out on deck for sure. So guys, let me know your thoughts on the video down below. Recommend games that you would like to see in future videos and or to people that just want to play them on the Steam Deck. Also be sure to subscribe and like the video and share it around to all your friends so we can grow this channel. I'm Logan from The Gamers Place. I hope you enjoyed, and without any further ado, peace out.